Daf Yomi, Tractate Chullin, page 12a, top of the page, with the words Pesach v'Chadashim ma ikel meimar. Pesach v'Chadashim ma ikel meimar. Then with regard to the Paschal offering and sacrificial meat, then one is obligated to eat. What is there to say? Ela hechad efshar, hechad lo efshar. Hachanami hechad efshar, hechad lo efshar. Rather, according to my mayor, there is no alternative saying where it is possible to examine the situation is possible, and the majority is not followed. Where it is not possible to examine the situation, it is not possible, and the majority is followed. If so, here too, according to the rabbis, it cannot be proven from the above sources that one follows a non-quantifiable majority ab initio, as perhaps where it is possible to examine the situation, it is possible, and where it is not possible to examine the situation, it is not possible, and the majority is followed. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav, Ra echad sheshachat im ra'u b'tchilav yatzo mutar le'echol mishchitato v'im lav asur le'echol mishchitato. Rav Nachman says that Rav says in the case of a person who saw one who slaughtered an animal, if the person saw him slaughtering continuously from beginning to end of the act, he is permitted to eat from his slaughter, and if not, he is prohibited from eating from his slaughter. Hechi dami. What are the circumstances? I diada diumir lamali ra'a. Vi diada logamir peshita. What are the circumstances? If it is a case where the onlooker knows that he is knowledgeable in the halachot of slaughter, why do I require that the onlooker saw the slaughter? Even if he did not see him slaughter, the onlooker may rely on his slaughter. And if the onlooker knows that he is not knowledgeable in the halachot of slaughter, it is obvious that only if the person saw him slaughtering from the beginning to end, he is permitted to eat from his slaughter. Ve'ela de lo yada yigamir lo gamir lema rov mitzuyan et etzar shchita mumchen hen. Rather, perhaps it is a case where the onlooker does not know whether he is knowledgeable or whether he is not knowledgeable. But if that is the case, let us say the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts in the halachot of slaughter, and one may rely on his slaughter. Milo Tanya Harei shematza tarnegolet shechuta bashuk oy shamash luchot seshchot v'halach umatzah shachut chezkato shachut. Isn't it Tana Braita in the case where one found a slaughtered chicken in the marketplace, or where one said to his agent, go out and slaughter a chicken, and he went and found the chicken slaughtered, and he does not know who slaughtered it, its presumptive status is that it was slaughtered properly. Alma amrinan rov mitsuyani mitsuyin etzel shchita mumchenhem hachanami lema rov mitsuyin etzel shchita mumchenhem. Apparently, we say the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts. Here too, in a case where it is unknown whether he is knowledgeable, let us say the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts. Le'oilam dioda de lo gemir uchegon jeshochad kaman chad simon shapir mahu detema midihai shapir hach nami shapir kamash melon ha yisromi le Idach Shema Sheha Shema Deras. The Gemara answers actually the references to a case where the onlooker knows that the one slaughtering is not knowledgeable in the halachot of slaughter, and where he slaughtered one siman before us properly. Lest you say, from the fact that this siman was slaughtered properly, that siman was also slaughtered properly. Therefore, Rav teaches us that this is not so, as perhaps this siman happened to be slaughtered properly for him, but with regard to the other siman, perhaps he interrupted the slaughter, or perhaps he pressed the knife, invalidating the slaughter. Ba'amine Rav Dimi bar Yosef mi Rav Nachman na'omer l'shluchot sei ushchot v'halach b'aza shachut ma'hu amar lo cheskato shachut ha'omer l'shluchot sei utroim v'halach u'matzah teram mai amar le ein cheskato tarum. Rav Dimi bar Yosef raised the dilemma before of Nachman with regard to one who says to his agent, go out and slaughter a chicken, and he went and found the chicken slaughtered. What is the halacha? Rav Nachman said to him, its presumptive status is that it was slaughtered properly, as he raised another dilemma with regard to one who says to his agent, go out and separate truma for me, and he went and found that truma was separated from his produce. What's the halacha? Rav Nachman said to him, its presumptive status is not that truma was separated. Manavsha. I chazak shliach loiseh shlichasai afilu truma nami. V'i ein chazak shliach loiseh shlichasai afilu shchita nami lo. Rav Dimi bar Yosef challenged, whichever way you look at it, your ruling is problematic. If there is a presumption that an agent performs his assigned agency, that should be the case even with regard to truma. And if there is no presumption that an agent performs his assigned agency, there should be no such presumption even with regard to slaughter. Amar le lechi techul ala kora de milcha leolam ein chazaka shliach oseh shlichuto ushchita inami dilma inesh achrina shama v'azal shachat rov מצויים אצל שחיטה מומחין הן. תרומה דילמה איניש אחריני שמה ועזל טרם הווה לתורם שלא מדעת והתורם שלא מדעת אין תרומתו תרומה. Rav Nachman said to Rav Dimi in jest, after you eat a core of salt over it and analyze the matter at length, you'll be able to understand the difference. Eat a core of salt? That's a lot. Actually, there is no presumption that an agent performs his assigned agency. And in the case of slaughter, even if perhaps another person heard him instruct the agent, and that person went and slaughtered the chicken, the slaughter would be valid because the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts. By contrast, in the case of truma, if perhaps another person heard him instruct the agent and then went and separated his truma, he becomes one who designates truma without the knowledge of the owner of the produce. And with regard to one who designates truma without the knowledge of the owner of the produce, his truma is not truma. Lema ro mitzuin etzel shchita mumchin hen tanai Titanya Harei she'avdu lo giduyav v'tarnegulav halach u'matza'an shchutim. Rabbi Yehuda Oser Rabbi Chanina beno shel Rabbi Yossi Haglili Matir. Amar Rabbi Nirin divarim shel Rabbi Yehuda שמצאן באשפה. ודברי רבי חנינא בנו של רבי יוסי הגלילי ושמצאן בבית. The Gemara suggests, let us say, that the statement, the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts, is a dispute between Tanaim, as it is taught in a Braita in a case where one's young goats and roosters were lost, and the owner went and found them slaughtered. Rabbi Yehuda deems the meat forbidden. Rabbi Yehuda deems the meat forbidden, and Rabbi Chanina, son of Rabbi Yosef, deems it permitted. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, the statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears correct in a case where the owner found the slaughtered animals in a scrap heap, as the concern is that they were thrown away because the slaughter was not valid. And the statement, Rabbi Chanina, the son of Rabbi Yosef, clearly appears correct in a case where he found them in the house. My love, b'hakamiflagi, Mar savar amrinan rov between etz shchita mumchenhen, Umar savar amrinan rov between etz shchita mumchenhen. What, is it not with regard to this matter that they disagree that one sage, Rabbi Chanina, holds, we say that the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts, and one sage, Rabbi Yehuda, holds, we do not say that the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, lo. Dekuli alma yiro betzuyin etza shchita mumchene mebayis. Dekuli alma lo pligi di shari b'yashpa di shabashuk. Dekuli alma lo pligi di asur. Ki pligi b'yashpa m'shabayis. Mar savaz mosui lahatil miblaso b'yashpa shabayis. Umar soverein adam asui lahatil miblaso b'yashpa shabayis. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said, no. The fact is that everyone agrees that the majority of those associated with slaughter are experts. And if you found the slaughtered goats or roosters in the house, everyone agrees that it is permitted to eat the meat. If you found them in a scrap heap that is in the marketplace, everyone agrees that it is prohibited to eat the meat. When they disagree is in a case where you found them in a scrap heap that is in the house. One sage of Yehuda holds a person prone to cast his unslaughtered animal carcass onto a scrap heap that is in the house, and one sage of Chanina holds a person is not prone to cast his unslaughtered animal carcass onto a scrap heap that is in the house. Amar Rabbi Nirinda Rabbi Yehuda Shemasan B'Yashpa Ma'Yashpa Ilay Ma'Yashpa Shvashuk Amen Tukuli Amal Pligi Dasu. And the master said in the Braita, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, the statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears correct in a case where he found them in the scrap heap. The Gemara asks, what is the term scrap heap referring to in this context? If we say the reference is to a scrap heap in the marketplace, didn't you say that everyone agrees that it is prohibited? And is it not merely the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda? Rather, it is obvious that he found it on a scrap heap that is in the house. And it is in that case that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi rules in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Ema Seifa v'divrei Rabbi Chanina beno shel Rabbi Yossi Haglili shmotzon b'bayis. My bayis. Ine ma bayis mamash. Amar tukuli alma lo pligi dishori. Say the latter clause of the statement of Yehuda Nasi as the statement of Rabbi Chanina, the son of Rabbi Yossi Haglili, appears correct in a case where he found them in the house. What is the word house referring to in this context? If we say the reference is to an actual house, didn't you say that everyone agrees that it is permitted? Rather, it is obvious that he found it on a scrap heap that is in the house. If so, it is difficult, as there is a contradiction between one statement, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, where he rules in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda to prohibit the meat in a case where it is found in a scrap heap in the house, and another statement, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, where he rules in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Hanina, the son of Rabbi Yossi Haglili, to permit the meat in that case. Alright, this concludes 12a. We'll stop here.